Hello everyone, welcome back to FairlyDeterminedFM with me. My name is Chris. Hope you're doing well. So last episode we had a look at the data, we had a look at how the team had done over the season, where maybe some tactical tweaks could be made and changed and all that sort of stuff. And that was really interesting. And today we're going to be taking a look at some more data, but we're going to use that data to inform our transfer business. Is the plan. That's the plan anyway. Just before we get into that though, when I was editing the last episode, I noticed some weird visual artifacts on the screen. It looked like the screen had gone muddy, is the best way I can describe it. I don't quite know what that was. I'm not saying it's a problem with the skin that I was using, but I've turned that skin off and I'm using the default skin and everything's fine. If I go back to the stats, go to the team detailed stats, like this looks okay. Yeah, this was the screen that was giving us problems. And it looks okay. And again, I'm not saying it's the skin's problem. It may very well be a problem with how my computer was rendering the skin. I don't know. But essentially what it means is that I'm just going to be using the default skin for a while until I figure it out. The squad. Now, I showed you this briefly in the last episode. This is the tactics, the STATATTACK view that I've got. And it contains a list of all the stats that I kind of care about across the three areas of the pitch. Starting with the sort of more defensive data points. We've got tackles per 90. How many tackles are we winning, or how many tackles is each player winning per 90 minutes? How many times are the players winning possession per 90 minutes? How many headers are won per 90 minutes, and how many interceptions are made per 90 minutes? I am actually going to add in here though, because I've been doing it on some other views, blocks per 90. I also care about blocks per 90, especially for the defense. So that's a defensive lot. This sort of stuff is, I feel like it's more useful for my midfield players, but it's also going to be quite useful for our defenders. It's sort of passing and effort, I guess, is what you want to call it. So distance cover per 90, I'm keen to know how far we're traveling. Players who travel further are generally running around a lot more, I think. That's interesting to me. Pressures completed per 90 minutes. So this is why I think it's a midfield kind of stat, is because we press further up the pitch than, we're trying not to have our defenders pressing, really. We want to press from the front. So midfielders, pressures completed per 90. Progressive passes per 90. Now I am interested in this stat for both midfielders and defenders. I want to know how often our defenders are getting the ball further up the pitch and how often our midfielders are getting the ball further up the pitch as well. Just passes attempted per 90 minutes. How many passes is each player attempting? See here, Valencia there with 100 passes and 93% success rate. So the last one is the pass completion ratio. He's completed 93% of all the passes he's made this season. That's incredible. Absolutely incredible. For more attacking players and also for some of the midfield players, so like Navarro playing in the attacking midfield role, dribbles per 90, open play key passes per 90 minutes. So I don't really care about free kicks and corners and all that sort of stuff in terms of counting towards the key pass stat. I'm more interested in what they're doing when the ball is in open play at their feet. Expected assists per 90, chances created per 90. It's very important for the more creative players, Navarro, Guerra, Valencia when he plays out on the left. Non-penalty expected goals per 90, because if you add in the expected goals, it also includes all the penalties they've taken. And then goals per 90. So how many goals are they scoring per 90 minutes? And that's kind of it. So we're going to use this data to have a look at players that I think we could possibly sign. Before we do that, we sort of have to figure out what players we need. Actually, before we do that, we'll just have a little refresher on the players who are coming in. So we've already got 4 joining us already. We did this business earlier on in the season. So if we have a look at transfers in, the skin's changed. So I'm confused as to where everything is. It's all laid out a tiny little bit different. So transfers in, Edwin Lopez is going to be coming in at right back, which is fine. So at right back, we don't really have, who have we got? Samuel Bello is all we've got at the moment. So with him coming in, we'll have 2 right backs plus Edgar Guerra who can play there. So that's 2 and a bit. I'm happy with that. We've got Carlos Espalagrotha coming in from Junior FC, actually defeated Junior FC. He's a central midfielder who can also play in the defensive midfield area, which gives us that will give us Pereira, Colorado, Gerson Misa, Santiago Silva, Angulo, Navarro, and then this guy. So that's what, 7 players? 7 players who can play in the middle of the park. I'm quite happy with that. Jesus Diaz joining us from Barranquilla FC, an attacking midfielder on the left or the right. He's going to be coming in on a freebie, and then also Jose Enamorado from Real Cartagena, Attacking midfielder on the left, definitely on the left. He's a very, very good player. Clicking. There we go. He's a very, very good player. He's going to be our primary attacking midfielder out on that left-hand side, which frees up Jada Valencia at the top. So you can see we've got an abundance of attacking talent here, but these three are kids. They don't really play that much, although they barely played, really. Omar Pereira is, you know, he's got the potential to be okay. Maybe. I'm going to keep him around because he's a good option. But yeah, with Quinones, Guerra, Jada Valencia, who else can play out there? Sakar can play out on the right, and then also we've got the two new guys, Diaz and Emerado, coming in. I'm quite happy with the depth we've got out wide, and also because of the depth we've got out wide, that does free up Valencia to be more of a striker this season. We've got Sakar, who did come good in the end, I think. 6 goals in sort of half a season, I think was pretty good. And then we still got Ramos, we still got Carvajal, and a bunch of other a bunch of other players who can play up front. So I'm not too worried about getting a midfielder, a striker, or any more wide players, which sort of leaves the defence. Yes. So the 4 players, no, wait, doesn't sort of leave the defence. It also leaves attacking midfield. Sebastian Navarro is sort of the only one we've got. We've got Carlos Hurtado, but he's 16 years old, 2-star current potential. I mean, he could play, he could come in from time to time as a deputy for Navarro, but I don't really want, if Navarro picks up a big injury, we're knackered in that position. We'd have to change the system, and I don't really want to do that. So, because Sebastian Navarro is he got 11 goals and 9 assists across 4,000 minutes. I mean, it's very good. So, because we've only got Sebastian Navarro, we need a backup there. So that's position number 1. I think, well, it's not position number 1. It's one of the positions of the 4 we're going to be looking at is attacking midfield. The other one is centre-back. I don't know why I'm doing the numbers like this. The other one is centre-back. Pablo Vargas, Eric Valencia, and Moreno are all very capable defenders. Joaquin Galesio is okay when you look at his stats. It's just he's very young, and he's not going to get any better. Like he's yeah. So we need at least one more competent central defender to play as a backup. We need another goalkeeper. I think we've only got the 2. I would like to have a third, and preferably I would like this third to actually be the first choice goalkeeper, relegating Romero and Quintana to deputy sort of positions. And then the final one, the big one, is left back. You know, we relied so much on Juan David Diaz at the end of last season, and he was so good, but I don't want to get into that situation again where we lost Omar Bartel to a big injury, and then we only had one player who could play at left back, and he was knackered. He played relentlessly at the end of the season. So those are the 4 positions. I think let's do it in order of preference. Left back, centre back, goalkeeper, attacking midfielder. Yeah, now that we know what position we want, let's have a look at what we want in terms of the data, and we're going to start with Juan David Diaz and Omar Bertel. So I've made smaller versions of these, so because we don't care about a lot of this information for these players. So stat attack wing back, bring that up, and then we'll take off everyone but the defenders and everyone but the left-sided defenders, and that just gives us Omar Bertel, and Juan David Diaz. So we care about, actually a lot of this is very similar. Oh, this doesn't have blocks on it. Hang on a minute. God, this is tedious doing this. I tell you, that is tedious. Right. It's a lot of stats. I'm not going to use all of these because I think some are more important than others. Certainly tackles per 90, very important. Possession 1 per 90, pretty important. Interceptions and blocks, I'm not too worried about. Headers per 90 really for them. It would be nice to have like a good stat in it, but I'm not overly concerned. Distance covered, very important because I want them up and down the wing. That links in with the dribbles. And then generally, the pass completion ratio, I want my team to have good pass completion ratio. So I'm going to be looking, for a good record there as well. I've just plugged in all of the stats that I sort of care about. So we've got tackles per 90 is at least 2, because if we look at Juan David Diaz and Omar Bartel, they were average 2.3 and 2.5. So at least 2 on that. Possession 1 per 90 is 12. Omar Bartel and Juan David Diaz were about 12, 13. Interceptions per 90 of 4. Distance covered of 12 kilometers. Progressive passes per 90 minutes of 2. It's actually a lot more than that, but the most you can do is 2. Actually, while I'm here, I'm going to complain about a couple of things because you know what I like to do. Some of the values you can't just like really specify it. It's quite rigid, which is a little bit annoying, but whatever, doesn't matter. Right, where were we? Progressive passes per 90 is 2. It would be nice to be more, but they won't let me do more, so that's fine. Pass completion ratio of 85%. Omar Bertel and Juan David Diaz both had more than that. Actually, there is a thing that I can do here. Where's that gone? I want to be able to see my own players. Exclude. No, don't exclude Millonarios players. Oh, interesting. I am doing that right, aren't I? Let's make a change. There we go, right. I've added the option to see my players as well, so I can actually see what I'm comparing it against, rather than having to refer to a screenshot that you can't see. So, here we go then. As you can see, the only player that comes up that even comes close to matching, and he does actually come quite close to matching Omar Bertel and Juan David Diaz, is this chap, Ilmar Celadon, currently playing for Bogota FC, who are in the league below us. So, that's pretty good. That immediately says to me that I could probably get this guy and rely on him to be at least as good as these two. So let's have a little look at him. The attributes are a little bit concerning, but whatever. We're going to scout him and we're going to see what it comes back with. He's an attacking fullback. He's 5'6", so he's not going to be winning headers. I don't really care about that anyway. His crossing is decent. Good passing, good tackling, work rate's good, teamwork. Could be quite fast. Could have a bit of acceleration about him. Yeah, all right, well, we'll see how he goes. 6.8, played 22 times, got 3 assists. That's not bad. That is not bad. How many assists did they get, actually? The pair of them? I haven't got it on there. Oh my god, hang on. This is going to be a bit choppy, this episode, I think, because it's not very polished. It's not polished. It's not well prepared. I thought I had it prepared, and it turns out I didn't. Assists. Right, Juan David Diaz got 6. Omar Bertel got 2, and this chap got 3. So that's not too bad. But what if we reduce some of these a little bit? What if we say interceptions per 90 is at least 2? Nope, doesn't make any change. Pass completion ratio, I'm not willing to give up on that. Pass attempts per 90, let's take that down to like 40. Here we go. Let's just have a little look and see if there's any of these that we fancy. He's in our league currently, and he's a little bit older. We probably want a fair bit of wage, but looking at his stats, 2 tackles per 90 minutes, that's not bad. He wins possession a lot, wins a lot of headers, that's probably it, and he gets decent interceptions, decent amount of blocks, not as much as David Diaz or Bertel. Pass completion ratio is in the range I like. Distance covered of 13, pressures completed, progressive passes of 4, dribbles per 90. He doesn't look too shabby either. He's a right back traditionally though, although he can play on the left. That's not bad though. So if we scout him, he could come in as a backup option to play on the left or the right. Not the worst thing in the world. Aguilas Pereira, I think, are also in my division. They are. Yoni Mosquera, 24 years old, 2 tackles, possession 113 per minute, per 90 rather, 6 headers 1 per 90, 4 interceptions. He's very similar to both Bertel and Juan David Diaz. So I think we'll get him scouted too. And there we go. Like, how cool is that? How cool is that? Normally I would just go on attributes and you hope for the best, but if I know that Juan David Diaz and Omar Bertel are 2 very, very good left backs in this league, or as far as I'm concerned, having watched them for the last season and a bit, then I know that I can rely on them. I can rely on this information to try and find defenders who are as good as, or better maybe, than them. Right. So, we're going to save that as well. What I'm also doing, and if anyone is interested, I'm saving these as filters so that you could, I think I can publish these. Yeah, I can publish these to Steam and you can use them for your own saves if you like. If anyone's interested in that, let me know down in the comments and I will do that for you. For sure. So, let's sort this by club, shall we? So there's our 2 boys, Millonarios, Eric Valencia and Steven Marino. Now, Vargas is not included in this. I must have added something in that excludes Vargas, but that's okay. I'm fine with that because Steven Marino and Valencia played more than Vargas did. So the only recommendation based on those current stats is Sebastian Rodriguez, who I'm already scouting for some reason. That's pretty cool. And his contract expires in 10 days' time. So we could just sign him on a free. Aguilas Pereira, how much is 2.1k in wages. He made 6 appearances, 11 as a substitute. It would be a good backup for us. He's 26 years old. I would be happy to pull the trigger on him, potentially. Tackling a 12, like, he's nothing special. But as a backup, he's fairly susceptible to injuries, which is less good. So let's bring some of this down. Let's bring pass completion ratio down to 80%. There we go. It's a few. Oh, hello, Julian Shelley. He's already on my radar as well, apparently. So we'll bring that down to 80% because the boys, bless them, their pass completion rate is in the 90s. It's incredible. So there's another one from Bogota, but his tackles per 90 is not very good. The minutes as well are something I should probably factor in. Let's add that in. Add condition, stats, general, minutes. There we go, minutes. Let's have at least 1,000. Oh, that's cool. All right, sure. At least 1,014. Let's do that. Right. So that gives us those 3 players. Now, apparently 2 of them I've already started scouting. Malcolm Palacios from Fortaleza, 3-star current ability. He's 22 years old. I like the look of his stats, his attributes. Stat-wise, 3,000 minutes, 0.7 on the tackles, which is better than Marino. Possession 1 is 16.31. Headers 1 is 12.45. Interceptions 3.46. Blocks per 90. He looks good. 88% pass completion ratio. He's attempted 76 per 90. I think he could be a goer. His contract's up in a few days' time as well. So he might even be the better option. Doesn't enjoy big matches is the only problem, but he's got a bit of potential to grow into. So he could be a good option for us. Consistent, really good in the air, works really hard for the team. Doesn't have great technique. He's quite slow. His pace is a bit of a worry. Yeah, that is a bit of a concern. So maybe not. But we've got Brian Rodriguez. He's only made 0.35 tackles per 90, but he does win the ball a lot. Possession 1 of 16. Headers 1 of 14. That's the highest of the lot. Higher than my boys as well. His pressures completed. He's an aggressive player then. 87% pass completion rate. He could be worth a scout. Ryan Rodriguez, again, not very pacey. He's 20 years old. He could have some ability to grow. We don't know that, so we'll get him scouted. And then we've got Julian Seeley. His contract is up in a year. He's 22. He's also got room to grow. Doesn't enjoy big matches. Got poor technique. None of the Colombians enjoy big matches. None of them. So he could be someone to go for. Maybe we'll fully scout him as well. And we'll fully scout Malcolm Palacios. Is there anything else I can do to maybe bring down... Let's go change that slightly interested. Who did that add? Guillermo Teague, who plays for Independiente Medellin. Now, there you go. 4,000 minutes. 4,500 minutes. So he's played more than our guys. 7 average rating. Tackles per 90 of 1.3. Possession 1 20 times. He looks the business. But his contract is up in a year, and I don't think we can afford him. Who's he wanted by as well? Talieres. Yeah, we will not be able to afford him. But he would walk straight into our team. Look at that. Just can't afford him. Just can't afford him. I will scout him anyway. Just in case. Well, that's interesting. So, statistically, there are no other goalkeepers like our goalkeepers. What FM do I take off interested in transfer? There are 8. Some of them, none of these are going to be joining us, are they? Alder Quintana? I mean, these guys are just not. They're just not going to be. Edison. Should we go for Edison? Maybe not. Right, let's put that back on. Let's go slightly interested. And we'll just start dropping these down. Save ratio, minutes. Maybe it's the minutes. No. Mistakes leading to goals at most 1. Pass completion ratio. Let's drop that down to, say, 60. There we go. Harlan Castillo's 32 years old. You know what? Goalkeeper might not be something that we can improve in. He's got 8 clean sheets, no mistakes. Pass completion ratio is 73%. His save percentage is 78%, which is better than Romero, but worse than Quintana. Do you know, we might not be able to get anyone else. If I take that off clearances per 90 minutes, That highlights Sergio Avanada. Save percentage 65, pass completion rate 66, 7 clean sheet. Alan Sosa has got 11 clean sheets. He's an Argentinian. Playing, I think, in Argentina. Philadelphia. Yeah, probably. He could be. He's not available to scout. Yeah. All right, goalkeeper we might have to rethink. Goalkeeper we might just have to look at attributes. And I think, because it's very hot in my office, I'm going to continue recording this tomorrow morning. So, scene change. Scene change. See, look, new outfit. It's not tomorrow morning. It's tomorrow evening. For you, it's like 10 seconds later. What the hell was I doing? Scouting. Yeah, we were scouting, weren't we? Right, so I did, after I finished recording, there goes my pen. I set up the attacking midfielder filter, because I think that's where we got to. We had a goal. Yeah, that was it. We had a goalkeeper thing that didn't work. Yeah, right, back into it. So here's the attacking midfielder filter set up. So we're looking at... Come on. Well, I've got a load of this. Scroll all the way down. Scroll all the way down. All the way down. Just get out my... Oh, hello. I can't go down any further than that. All right, fine. We're looking at tackles per 90 for... What's happened? They've all gone. Why have they all gone? Oh, I get sods. Where'd they go? Right, let's try that again then, shall we? After I, when I finished recording last night and before I started recording just now, I set up the filter for the attacking midfielder centre, which is the last position we needed to look at. So we're looking at, because Sebastian Navarro is our only sort of like first choice guy, and yeah, he's good. Let's get the correct doodad on, the stat attack for the AMCs. Right, so what we're looking at is tackles per 90 minutes of 2, because Navarro presses from the front. He's got 2.15. I want to emulate that with someone. Possession 1 per 90 minutes of 5. He's actually got 9, but I'm, keeping it low to try and bring in some more players. Interceptions per 90 of 1, distance cover per 90 of 12 kilometers, pressures completed of 2, progressive passes per 90 of 2, at least 2 rather. Pass completion ratio 82%, want that to be quite high as well. Dribbles made per 90 of 1, open play key passes per 90, 1, expected assists per 90 of 0.10, non-penalty expected goals per 90 of 0.25, and then goals per 90 minutes of 0.2. So if we have a look at Sebastian Navarro, over 4,000 minutes, 9 goals, 11 assists. He's so good. But immediately, my eyes are drawn to this chap. Just underneath him, Yadir Menezes. I think I've already said... I haven't said to scout him. Oh, his contract's up in 10 days' time, right? Attribute-wise, he looks decent, doesn't he? But good enough to be a backup, certainly, for Navarro. Envigado, I think, play in the league below us. They do, so that wouldn't be a problem. I think he'd be quite happy to come to us. So this is a league below us, obviously. Now that I think about it, so those sorts of ratings. Where did they finish? Actually, in the Dimayor. Can I just click it? Can I click it? Thanks. They finished. Envigado finished in 3rd, so they're not a bad team in that league. To be fair. He looks good, he's beating Navarro in a lot of attributes, in a lot of statistic sets actually, which is encouraging. More dribbles, pass completion rate slightly lower, wins possession more, makes more interceptions, tackles more. Because his contract's up in 10 days' time, I think we'll get him scouted. I know that he's already sort of like fully scouted, but I like to do more. There's also this guy who I forgot I was meant to record this bit, who I've already started to scout. Again, he's a little bit older than Navarro. He scored 15 goals this season at Atletico Palmira, who plays somewhere in Argentina. 6 goals, 6 assists rather, 15 goals, 2.2 tackles per 90, made 1 possession a lot. 21 times he wins possession per 90. 0.43 goals per 90 as well, so that's good. That explains why he's got 15 goals. A little bit more expensive, a little bit older. But I think, looking at some of the stats that we can see, teamwork and off the ball, his movement's going to be pretty good. So having him as a playmaker up there, as a sort of backup or rotational option with Navarro, could be pretty good. Luca Calderon. Again, 3,000 minutes. He's played in somewhere. Torneo Argentino A. This feels like then it's not the it's quite low down. Like it's not, I don't want to say non-league, but it's not top level football. So both of those are a little bit worrying. Envigado, I think, is the one that I'm leaning towards at the moment, purely because his team finished third in his league. His attributes are similar enough to Navarro, but we know that he's a little bit, if we look at comparison actually between the two, whereas Navarro, there we go. We know that, look at that. Actually, look at it. They are exactly the same. Physical, speed, vision, attacking, and technical. Navarro is a little bit better in the air. Menes is a little bit better mentally, and Navarro is a little bit better defensively. Left foot, right foot. I honestly think he would be a really good signing. So I might actually just pull the trigger on it. 5.5 a week. What do we want? What do we think he wants? Should I do it? I mean, the stats say he's good enough, and attribute-wise, he looks very similar to Navarro. I think it's a no-brainer, personally. Squad player, he's happy with squad player. Attacking midfielder with the role of advanced playmaker, sure. Wants to strengthen goalkeepers, me too, mate. It's proven difficult. I'm not going to give you that. Yeah, we'll suggest those. How much does he want? He only wants $3,000. Can I get you down? 2.7. 2.7. 2.7 and he's in. There we go. First bit of stat-driven business. Done. Happy with that. Yeda Meneses, if he signs and doesn't reset. I mean, he's going to sign. We're the Colombian champions. His team finished third in a league below. He's definitely going to sign. So, with that done then, I think I'm pretty happy with the attacking midfielder, because we do have Santiago Silva who can play there. I think there's a couple of other midfielders that we've got who could play there. Hurtado, actually, youngster, 16 years old. I don't mind sticking Hurtado in for some games against lower opposition that I think we could probably beat pretty easily, he said. So I'm pretty happy with what we've done. We have a look. Scout priorities. Here we go. So just to recap, I'm going to cancel the scouting on Yeda Meneses because we're just going to buy him. We're just going to buy him. And I think I'm going to cancel the scouting on Martinez as well, just because of the level that he was playing at. Doesn't sit right. So with those two gone, because I don't really think that they're what we need, certainly with Meneses hopefully coming in, that means we're scouting 4 central defenders and a couple of wing backs, like 3 wing backs, left backs, to bolster the ranks there. We definitely need at least 2, I think. I'm hoping. Remember what I remember. I'm hoping that Castillo and Mosquera are the 2, because Castillo can play on the left and the right. Mosquera can play exclusively on the left. I'm hoping that those 2 are, backed up by the stats. I'm hoping that the attributes for those players are backed up. Sorry, start again. I'm hoping that the stats we've looked at for those 2 are backed up by the attributes and the scout report, and that there's nothing glaring like they don't like playing in big matches or they're susceptible to injuries or anything like that. I'm going to sim ahead for a little bit until these scout reports start coming in, and then we'll make some decisions and see if we can get some players signed. All right, a couple of days ahead, Meneses is joining, so we're going to accept that, and in he comes. He will join us in a couple of days when the window opens. Really pleased with that. I think that's going to be a really good signing. If his stats stack up in the top level, then we've done a really good bit of business there. Brought a player in for nothing, absolutely nothing, who is, statistically speaking, as good, if not better in some areas, than one of our star players. I mean, that is good business. Right, okay, so the scout reports have started coming in. First one up is Ilmar Celadon. He's one of the left backs, so fairly susceptible to injuries, doesn't have the greatest jumping reach, he's consistent, he loves a big match. He's decent enough, I think. Could be useful, okay. Maybe not first choice. Yeah, I mean, he's pretty mentally, he's not really all there, is he? I mean, that sounds worse. He's not really got the, he's pretty average. That's what I'm trying to say. He's average. I'm not trying to say he's mental. Jair Castillo, kind of similar. He's the sort of a more versatile option. Fairly consistent, works well within the team. He's got a fair bit of pace. Natural in a couple of positions. I think he would be a good signing. I think he would, because he can go either side as a backup option. I just don't know whether at 29 years old, I don't know whether he's going to want to be a backup option. So that's possibly not an option. Yoni Mosquera. Now this guy, yes, I think. I think looking at his ability and his potential, again, fairly susceptible to injuries, enjoys big matches, consistent performer, he's brave, natural in a couple of positions as well. Yoni Mosquera, he could be the one. He's young. We're going to get a few more years out of him. He can play the wing-back role. His tackling isn't great, but he does have sort of like the pace and acceleration to get up and down. He's got the work rate for it as well. His positioning's a little bit lacking, you know, but I think as a backup, as a rotational option, he could be pretty good. So I think we'll make an offer. Let's just go back and have a look at his stats again. So that's Yoni Mosquera, right? We'll go and load up. Where's Yoni Mosquera? Why is Yoni Mosquera not showing up on here now then? Interesting. He was definitely on there. Definitely. But how did I miss this guy? One Camilo Moreno. Pacey, stamina, acceleration. He can tackle. They might want a little bit more for him. Doesn't feel comfortable playing in big matches. Maybe that's why I wasn't really interested. He's consistent though. Possesses a fair amount of pace and he would slot in quite nicely ahead of one David Diaz. Behind Omar Bertel. But I do think, can I compare him to Mosquera? Let's compare him to Yoni Mosquera. So defensively, Moreno is the better player. Physically, he's the better player. Attacking-wise, he's a better player. He's same speed, not as good in the air, he's not as good mentally. Interesting. He's more comfortable in the wing-back role as well, Yoni Moreno. He's right underneath one David Diaz. 2.99 tackles, possession 114, he's covering more distance, dribbles per 90 is 1.2, so not as many, progressive passes 6, pressures completed 5. Yeah, I think we make a move for Moreno. Let's try and get him for 750k. See what they come back with for that. And we've got Mosquera as the backup option, right? So it's not one and done. We can always get Mosquera if all else fails, or we can try to anyway. So, centre-back wise, useful backup for the first team. That's Brian Rodriguez. Julian Seeley, enthusiastic centre-back. Transfer interest is dubious, but he would slot in quite nicely. He doesn't enjoy playing in big matches. That's a real concern. And a lot of these players that we're scouting don't enjoy playing in big matches, which isn't great. Malcolm Palacios. Now, there we go. Again, doesn't enjoy playing in big matches. He's consistent, though. And he works really hard for the team. He's young, he wouldn't cost us anything, and he's quite cheap on the old wages. So, I think we bring him in. 1.8k. I think we bring him in. Malcolm Palacios doesn't have the pace. He's quite slow. We'd have to be careful with him a little bit in terms of his the high line we like to play and the higher line we're going to try and play. Decisions, not great, but good concentration, good bravery, his positioning's decent, heading, marking, tackling, all good. He's 6'4". I think for free, I think he makes a decent bit of business. I think. Ask agent about availability. Yeah. Competition for places. Sure, great, brilliant. We'll try and bring him in. Squad player, we'll give you fringe player. And then maybe next year, if you're not terrible, then we'll give you a squad player. How about that? You want squad player? Yeah, all right. 1.9. Yeah, only for a year. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Great. But let's get that down to 1.7, shall we? 1.8. 1.8. Good. Hard bargain. Well done. So that's a year. I'm happy with that. He's not going to be our first choice. He's definitely going to be behind. Even if Juan Pablo Vargas gets a big injury, he's definitely going to be behind Marino and Valencia, but it's good to have another option. So I'm happy with that. But one, Julian Seeley, I think was the one, wasn't it? And he's better, but he's going to cost money, quite a bit of money. However, if he's dubious, then maybe not. Maybe not. Blimey. No. There is a lot of players whose contracts run out soon. That's a concern. Got a year to tidy that up. And an RS staff. I'll do this off camera, but I'm going to have a look at the staff as well, because I want to make sure that we've got professional staff in. I think a lot of our staff has got like balanced and, those sort of negative personality traits. Not personality traits, personalities. I would much rather have some professionals in. Right, so start the transfer window. Here are our new signings. So, Enamorado is our new first choice winger. Out on the left-hand side. I think he's out on the left-hand side. Yes, he is. Palacios is our new sort of backup centre-back, who has the potential to be a key player for the club. Does he now? Oh, lovely. Good stuff. Edwin Lopez, our new right-back. Jesus Diaz, the sort of versatile winger who can play on the left or the right. Yedir Meneses, who's the attacking midfielder we brought in to bolster Navarro's squad spot position. That's the one. And then Espalagosa, who we signed in from Junior FC. All decent signings, I think. I think we've got the depth now. Goalkeeper's the only one we're missing. We've got 5 centre-backs, all of whom can play. Like, I'd even put on Galesio from here. We've got Bartel. Lopez and Guerra. We could maybe possibly do another right back, actually. So we've got Lopez and Guerra, Juan David Diaz and Omar Bartel, possibly with Moreno coming in as a backup as well. We're stacked in the middle of the park. We've got a lot of midfielders who can all play in the defensive midfield roles, and a couple who can play in the attacking midfield roles. A couple of wingers as well who can slot into the. Got Meneses, we've got Enamorado who can sit into the attacking midfield role in the middle. Hurtado can go there as well. We've got a lot of wide players. Look at some of these players as well, picking up the stars. They're going to be good enough, I think. Even at 16, I think they're now going to be good enough to start coming in rotationally. And then we've got 3 strikers: Carvajal, Ruben Ramos, Cortez. Actually, 4-5 strikers if you include Valencia and Sakar in that. Like, I think we're stacked. We've got a lot of depth. I think possibly right wing back is probably another option. I think that's probably going to be the end of the episode. You can see what I've done, I think, in terms of bringing players in and strengthening the squad. I'm quite happy with what's happened. Hopefully we'll get this Moreno deal over the line. You'll find out in the first episode. And I think we will. I've also offered a contract to Obi Esquivel, just because he looks like a decent young striker. 19 years old, Colombian, one for the future. But yeah, hopefully we'll get Moreno in. And then that'll sort of bolster our left-hand side. I'm going to maybe have a little look for a right back and probably another goalkeeper. Although Camilo Romero and Brenna Quintana are decent enough. I just kind of want another one. A slightly better one. But we'll see. In these 2 recording sessions, I've recorded 40 and 30 minutes. So there's going to be a lot to edit. It's going to be quite a beefy episode, I think. So I won't keep you for much longer. Just want to say thank you very much for watching. The support on the series has been really cool. I've been really, I've loved Colombia, and it seems like you guys are enjoying it too. So thank you once again for your viewership. That a thing to say? I mean, I've said it. Let me know what you thought down in the comments. Leave a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I'll see you back here soon for the start of the season, where we try and defend our title and win both the leagues. We can do it. I think we can do it. All the best. Cheers. Bye.